Stig's vision. Stig Langvads is standing for re-election to the UNCRPD.
It is definitely my vision that the UNCRPD becomes the political tool that makes the dream of all persons with disabilities to become equal citizens and have the same opportunities as everyone else.
Stig Langvads has been active in disability politics for almost 40 years. Since 2000, he has been chairman of the Disabled People's Organisations Denmark, representing 32 different disability organisations. He is also a member of the Executive Committee of the European Disability Forum. Listen to Javier Güemes, Deputy Director of the Forum.
I think that Stig Langvads is one of the greatest leaders of disability movement in Europe. He has brought vision, meaning how to conceive the future for millions of persons with disabilities, not just in Denmark, but in Europe, but also at international level.
In Denmark, he is the leading figure when discussions are held with politicians, public officials, the media, educational institutions, and other cooperating partners at all levels. The president of the Danish Association of the Blind, Torkild Olsen, has this to say.
He was a key person in going into the discussion about a convention in Denmark, and he was one of the main supporters to our delegation who participated in the creation of the convention.
The Minister for Economic Affairs and the Interior, Margrethe Vestager, had, amongst many others, this experience.
Well, concerning the optional protocol, I remember the negotiations very clearly because Steve was very insisting, but he was also very open to the concerns that one might have, the doubts where to go and how to find the right way to do this. But he was extremely constructive, extremely helpful, and very, very, very focused. And I think that is one of the reasons why we actually got a very good result.
Stig Langvads is a powerful advocate for inclusion in the school system and in the labour market.
It's important for me that persons with disabilities becomes visible, because it is only through interaction between people that inclusion becomes a reality.
The former Minister of Finance and Employment, Claus Hjort Frederiksen, says this about Stig Langvads. He approaches his work in a very unsentimental way with regard to access to the labour market. Stig has fought a battle that has been very useful, proving that people with disabilities are a valuable asset. And the Minister of Education, Christina Antorini, continues.
And I would also like to mention that Stig Langvads has played a substantial part in securing that children with special educational needs are included in the public schools with the necessary support for their needs.
Stig Langvads is also deeply committed to member organisations supporting aid work in developing countries. Sutte Christensen, president of the LEV National Association, has the following comments about Stig. She explains that she represents a group that has a very low status in places like Africa and Asia. So it's important that the figurehead of an organisation for the disabled is someone like Stig. He says that we must be tolerant of others and that we must help, support and explain that this includes everyone, people with physical and learning disabilities and those with mental illness. But what is his special talent for negotiation, for achieving results? Claus Hjort Frederiksen notes that Stig is a tough customer because he has a cause and wants results, so he drives a hard bargain during negotiations. Margrethe Vestager continues.
And I think that Stig is extremely good at finding solutions and make people listen to each other.
But does he have a policy agenda for the next term?
If I'm so lucky that I will be re-elected, I will be focusing on the following three main topics. First of all, I would like to make sure that collaboration between governments and organizations of persons with disabilities become much stronger, because it is essential to make sure that legislation is correct.
Margrethe Vestager adds,
We find better solution when we listen and work together in a partnership with organizations and with personalities like Stig Langvads.
Secondly, I want to focus on the most vulnerable groups among persons with disabilities, persons with psychosocial disability, learning disability, and others that are often forgotten when the strong ones are talking politics.
Sutte Christensen points out that
Stig Langvad ved faktisk godt, hvad det handler om.
Stig knows all about learning disabilities and mental illness. He's always well prepared and has studied these groups and their circumstances.
Thirdly, I want to make sure that the UN CRPD is not just ratified by governments, but is also implemented into national legislation to make a difference.
Javier Guemes sums up.
So Stig will bring to the UNCPD committee the vision of how to innovate, on how to be in a certain way analytical, with a critical view, but at the same time with a constructive view to improve, to make lives better for persons with disabilities.
You can be sure that I'm ready for the next term.
Vote for Stig Langvads to be re-elected to the CRPD committee on the 10th of June 2014 at the election in relation to the 7th Conference of State Parties at the United Nations in New York. This program is produced by GLAD Production.